Recently, the author, our friend, fellow gay rights activist, Jonathan Rauch, published an article where he said, until fairly recently, like most gay Americans, I've seen the trans movement as an extension of our own. I believe trans people deserve equality in all meaningful respects. But this notion, right, of seeing the trans movement as an extension of the gay rights movement has changed, right? It's really something that's up for debate. And I know you feel the same way, as do many people who took part in the fight for gay equality and for same-sex marriage. So I want to start by asking, why? What makes this movement, which some people call gender ideology, but sort of resists being categorized, what makes it different?
Well, if you look at what I was arguing, what many of us were arguing on gay questions, a matter of civil rights, the right to marry, the right to be in the military, the right to, at some point, be protected by broad anti-discrimination laws. Those are our understanding of civil rights. Well, the truth is that's all done. The Bostock decision, and it kind of blows my mind that I've never heard a trans activist hail the Bostock decision. I've never seen them boast about it. I don't hear it front and center. The Bostock decision embedded the rights of trans people in the Civil Rights Act of 1964. There are some minor things they could probably improve on it, but as a core reality, it's over. The civil rights question is done.
Meaning you can't be fired from your job because you're trans, et cetera.
And you can marry who you want, and you can, and thank God, after Trump, you can also serve in the military. All of the core issues that gay people fought for are already won for trans people as well. It was only recent. So you can see why, in fact, because broadly speaking, the question of people having some behaving in ways that is not usually associated with their sex, namely being attracted to someone of the same sex, or a very different experience, feeling that you're a different sex than your body tells us you are, those have a sort of rough similarity on the outside. And certainly trans people definitely sought refuge among gay people too, although there are a lot of bullshit around that too. Stonewall, for example, was very not trans friendly. And there's always been some tension between gay men and trans women too on that front. But nonetheless, broadly speaking, agreement. Because again, the idea of being against trans rights appalls me. I think it's a genuine identity that is people do not have control over. I think that they absolutely have a right to be who they want to be and to do what they want with their own bodies as adults, and to organize and live freely and openly. But subsequently we realized that in fact what's been driving this is not a liberal civil rights question, because that's been resolved. It's a very illiberal idea that we are going to use trans people as a way to detonate the sex binary altogether. So we can unwind sex differences, unwind the differences between men and women, because part of the project of the Foucaultian left is to deconstruct everything to maximize human freedom. So deconstruct the nuclear family, deconstruct marriage, deconstruct the military. Don't join them. This tension was always, and I think what's happened is that as those of us basically succeeded in the gay rights movements, we didn't think there was anything more to do. We went on with our lives. But that just leaves some of these causes able to be cannibalized and taken over by extremists. And that's what has happened, I think. And part of it is saying, and this is the core issue at hand, it's not about do you support trans rights? It's not. I support them up the wazoo, so to speak. It is a question of whether we are able to define reality, whether biology actually is an important issue in your sex. Now, this wouldn't have been thought controversial 10 minutes ago. Quite obviously, your biology determines your sex. And when you really push some of these activists, they will almost concede that. But what they want to say is that sex is a choice. And they do that by conflating sex with gender and then unraveling every legal and constitutional means to distinguish between men or women as biologically different people. And that is a totally different debate than trans rights. That's a question about reality. That's a question about whether you are a postmodernist interested merely in the invention of identities, or whether you are a liberal that wants to append rights to individuals and understand those individuals as being partly biological beings. That's the conflict.